So today I thought I would start out by talking about our conscious language. Thoughts, words, and emotions create our reality. And we need to, pardon me, we need to speak only what we choose to have come into our world. We so many times talk about what we don't want. Well, the universe cannot give us what we don't want. So it's breaking the habit of talking in the negative terms or in the terms of lack. And it's paying attention to what you are saying and how you are saying it and the words that you are using. Judgment is the key. Learning how not to judge and being out of judgment with yourself and others and simply accepting that what is what is, and each person is having their own experience for their own process, then it makes it easier for everybody to live their lives and to evolve their souls according to their life's plans. So we need to move from right and wrong and good and bad into the highest choice, the highest and greatest good for all concerned, which does include include each of us. I see that we have someone calling in. Good morning. You're on the air. To whom am I speaking? Hello.
Oh, hello. This is Vera.
Hi, Vera. How are you today?
I'm good. I was looking forward to hear your voice again and your beautiful answers and help to all around. I don't have a question, but I just want to express my gratitude for you organizing this talk and being of help for everyone who needs that.
Oh, bless you for that, honey. Thank you so much. It really does. It helps to know that everybody's out there listening, and it's making a difference. I'm very honored that you would share that with me. Thank you. Did you have anything else you wanted to talk about or share?
No, I'd love just to hear. And it's again, I have a difficulty to get through the internet, so I just call. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I will just put you on mute then so you can continue to hear. Is that all right?
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, darling. Love you.
Love you more.
Okay. So let's see. Trying to learn how to work this. I might have just disconnected her. If I did, I apologize. So that was so sweet. So getting back to what we were talking about, it is so important to be fully and completely present, to be in the moment. Our power is in this moment, in the now. The past is over. We can't change it. The future hasn't got here yet. We don't have any effect on it except from this moment, which is where all of our power is. So we need to be fully and completely present in this moment. We need to speak in first person, personal, and present. Have ownership. I think, I feel, I believe, it's my opinion, that type of thing. Honor what you believe. Honor what your higher self, the experiences that you brought into this life with the world. We all need to hear what everybody has to say. We may not agree with it, but if we listen with open hearts and open minds, we might just be able to hear each other a little bit better. We need to learn to speak from our hearts, to be honest, to be empowering and connected. Not from our minds, not from our judgments, not from our conditioning and programming, but what does our heart feel? Being specific will bring up feelings. When you want something, this is kind of a tricky little thing right here. When you want to manifest something in your life, and you know what you want, but you really don't know what you want. It's like, for example, if you're looking for a home or an apartment, you want to, your what is the type of place you want. 2 bedrooms, 2 bath, washer, dryer, kitchen appliances, a little yard, whatever it is that you want. There are many, many homes out there that would fall into that category. But you need to stay focused, being specific on what you actually want, and then participate. You've got to do the work to manifest that. You've got to look in the paper. You've got to talk to people. You've got to put it out there. And as you keep focusing on the what that you want in your life, it will begin to come to you, because that's the energy that you're feeding. If you focus on the fear, what you're afraid of, what you don't want to manifest in your life, that's exactly what you're going to create. Because when we start thinking about what it is that we don't want to create in our world, that's where the energy is focused. And lo and behold, that's what's going to show up for us. So another way of saying that is move towards something, not away from it. Like I said, the universe cannot give us what it is that we don't want. It can only help us bring to us the energies that we are in alignment with. So if we are focusing on what we don't want, there is nothing for it to align with. When you start focusing on what it is that you do want, whether it's generic in the sense of I want love, peace, happiness, joy, it's still a focus that is positive and life-affirming, as opposed to I am so tired of being without and not having enough money and not having any friends and being lonely and not being, and the government, just all of the negativity just starts rushing out. And we don't really think of it as something that we're focused on. But when you look around you, what are you experiencing in your world? Anytime that you have the first thoughts that come to you, whether it's in relation to somebody asking a question or an idea or something, the very first thought that comes is a very, very important one. But it's also the one that ego immediately steps on and says, oh, no, that's not possible, or, oh, no, you can't do that, or that's not good, or that's not right. A good way of breaking the habit of the negativity is when you become aware of it, just say cancel clear. Or when you are talking about something that you have experienced, start the sentence with, in the past, this is what I found, or in the past, this is how I experienced blah, blah, blah. Or if you're saying something, oh my God, I'm not going to ever be able to do that, you immediately want to say cancel clear. What that does is it brings your consciousness to attention, and it's like, okay, now I get to choose. Do I want to feed the light, or do I want to feed the negativity? So we all have to pay attention. We have to leave our highest choice on our mental screen. Cancel clear in a way kind of is like erasing the chalkboard on your subconscious. Make sure that the last thing that you leave for your conscious mind to dwell on is something positive, something that is to your highest and greatest good. Because every word we speak is really a prayer coming into reality. And speaking is a self-fulfilling prophecy. So give me a call. I'm sure that some of the things that I have just talked about should have triggered some kind of questions or comments from you. I would love to hear from you. 773-897-6227. And I also wanted to mention you can go to my website at easyknowing.com and check out all of the teachings that I have on there and the work that I have been doing for the past 45 years. So give me a call. Now let's talk about how well do you know yourself? Have you ever really just kind of sat down and spent time with you asking yourself the hardest questions, asking yourselves the questions that we hear all the time, but have you ever really just sat down and written it out and allowed yourself to just kind of look at what it is? Things like, what is the greatest obstacle in your life at present? When you write it down, it changes your perspective. It helps you shift the crystal. When you are just verbalizing it and just spewing the words out to anyone who will listen, all you're doing is just reinforcing the challenges that you're facing. Write them down, because the process of writing it down, then going back and rereading what you have written, gives you a different perspective. What is your greatest physical obstacle? What evokes your highest degree of anger? What is your most difficult relationship at present? What is your greatest fear? What is your greatest hurt? These are questions that we've all contemplated, that we've all thought about, we've all gone over and over and over in our minds. But I am suggesting to you that it would serve you greatly to write it down. Write down the questions, then write down your feelings about it, your thoughts, your beliefs. Get it out. When we keep it inside our heads, it's not real, in a sense. All words have vibration. And the words that we speak vibrate energy into our lives. So I know that a lot of times not thinking about what we say, because again, we're in the habit of just talking sometimes. Here are some phrases and some words that fall into the language of self-sabotage. I want, I need, I might, I hope, I must, I have to, I can't, I don't know, it's hard, try, but, however, kind of, almost, perhaps, probably, always. And you say, well, how are those self-sabotaging? Because they're phrases that put everything just out of arm's reach. Anything that you don't give yourself permission to have, you're not going to ever receive. It's like, Yoda says, there is no try, just do. You can't try anything. You have to either do it or you don't. And if you did it and it didn't work, it doesn't mean that you failed. It just means you learned how to do it different for the next time. Absolutes and words that are, that express absolution, like you always do this, you never do that. Those are judgments. Those are absolutes. Those are not real. Those are ways of judging other people to make ourselves feel better, in a sense. We have to learn to speak a language of empowerment, to take responsibility, to say, I am, I can, I will, I choose, I have, I love, I create, I enjoy. Take responsibility. Manifest what you want in your life. Whether it's emotional, spiritual, mental, physical, use the power of your words, your language, to help you bring it in instead of creating that wall and that barrier that will keep it out. The phrases like I want, I can't, it's too hard, I don't know. These are all words that are creating limitation and no choice. Ineffective choices are trying to be good, hoping it will work, intending it to happen, kind of making it, well, I could possibly do it. Well, I almost got it. Those are phrases that we have learned to, in a sense, not take responsibility. Have you ever heard somebody say something to the effect of, I choose to be good so that I will be loved. I'm committed to success in order to have my dad love me. I like to smile so others will like me. I'm going to join a club because it will make me look popular. These are what we call conditional choices. If the first part of it, I choose to be good, I'm committed to success, those are positive phrases. But when you add the condition to it, that I'm only going to do this so that my dad will love me, where's your power? Where's your motivation? And what happens to all of that positive energy when you don't get that need met? When others don't like you? Whenever you're not successful? When you still don't feel loved? The thing about it is that you can't get anything from somebody else that you are not giving to yourself first. If you don't give it to yourself first, how are you going to recognize it when someone else offers it to you? You won't. You will have a perspective, an illusion, a false belief, a fantasy of what that's going to feel like. But it's not truth because you don't feel that for yourself. And that's whether it's love, trust, hope, faith, whatever the emotion is, whatever the need is, acceptance, approval. All of those things you have to give to yourself first. So again, give me a call, 773-897-6227. I would certainly love to hear from you. Okay, so, excuse me here. I'm going to take a drink of water, wet my whistle here. Bottom line is our job is what? God's job is how. If we can conceive it, we can achieve it. But receiving it begins with our specific experience of our heart's desire. And we have to make that experience as in the moment. Imagine it now. Make it personal. Be vivid and specific. Feel it. Practice. 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 And watch for the automatic breath. When you state a truth, your body will take what we call an automatic breath. It will just be and it will just be there. That is a affirmation, confirmation of your truth. Stay focused on the what. The what is the final outcome. How that comes to you is not your job. Your job is to stay focused and keep drawing the picture that you want the universe to create for you. Give yourself your highest choices. Give yourself permission to have, to do, to be. Act as if you already have, that you already are your ideal. See, hear, feel, touch, smell, and experience fully what you want your life to be. Imagine it, create it. Come from this new consciousness moment to moment. It is so important to pay attention to how we beat ourselves up so automatically we don't even think about it. How the judgments are just swirling around in our minds. And so many of the times we don't think of them as being judgments. We don't think of it in the way that it is manifesting. Judging is the original sin. And it creates the limitations that we place in ourselves. It creates fears. And the fear destroys the love and understanding of ourselves and others. And of course, no matter how hard we judge others, we judge ourselves 10 times more. Absolutes are judgments. We are not all things to all people, nor should we be. We are all different, and yet we are all one. Judging creates the negative energy, and the negative energy is what's draining your life force, your energy level. But judging is also a habit. Acceptance, just allowing what is, frees those bonds. It releases the chains that bind, and it gives you the opportunity to experience life. And forgiveness is really the key. And what you're doing is you're forgiving the judgment. You're forgiving the judgment of the experience, the judgment of what you're feeling. It doesn't mean that you're forgiving the person or forgiving the situation in the sense that you're going to just go right out and embrace them back into your life. No, that's not what it's about. It's about you releasing the charge. It's about you letting go of all of the anger and the hate and the fear and the resentment that you're holding in your body over judging something or someone, that if you shifted the crystal just a little bit, you could let go of the judgment. Goes to that saying, how many times have we thanked God for unanswered prayers? Psychic awareness is information that we receive without judgment. So when you let go of making things good or bad or right or wrong or constantly comparing yourself to others and the situations and experience or we even do it to movies and books that we read. We fantasize and we judge ourselves through that fantasy that we can't have that. We're not capable of that. That's not something that we're worthy of. And my response to that is, according to who and compared to what? Any time that you get a button pushed, it's always connected to a false belief. And the one who pushes your buttons the most is your greatest teacher, like it or not, because they bring out your weakness. They make you aware of what it is that you are judging or not seeing. So if they go and push your buttons enough times, they will get you to react. Then it kind of starts getting into this self-defeating game of feeding off of each other's energy and taking each other's power and unconsciously using each other's fears and judgments to our benefit. It's really, really necessary for humanity's involvement, from the macro to the micro, for all of us to stop seeing the differences that we are as good or bad or right or wrong, but just seeing them as different. And instead of being afraid of it because it's not the same, start embracing it, explore, experiment. What's it like in your world? How do you feel about this? Simple little tiny things will start a great big change. All righty. So I know you guys have got to be tired of listening to me all this time, so give me a call. Let's get some more questions going, some more comments. Let's have a conversation. So let me ask you something. How happy are you when your happiness depends on someone else? If somebody can build you up, they can also tear you down. You need to think about that. Who are you giving your power to? Who is living your life? We need to learn to ask for what we need, but we have to know what that need is before we can ask for it. When we're thirsty, we ask for a drink of water. When we're hungry, we feed ourselves. But when we need approval, acceptance, a hug, we don't feel that it's okay to ask for it. But it is. If others don't know that you have that need or that is something that's important to you in that moment, how can they do anything to assist your process? Fear of being rejected creates self-defeating behaviors. You're the only one who is rejecting yourself based on false beliefs you hold about who you think you should or shouldn't be. All you have to do is just accept you as the beautiful, radiant, rare, and precious cosmic miracle that you are. Forgive yourself and let go of all of everybody else's ideas of who they think you should be. Discover who you are. In and of itself, that is way more better than what somebody else tells you you should be. Being yourself is the greatest gift. That's why you're here. Just your presence alone is enough. But if you're constantly trying to change it, to alter it, to make it different, to hide it, then nobody gets to enjoy the benefit of who you are, of the light you bring to this world. Doesn't mean everybody's going to agree with you or even like you. That's not the point. We're all here on a different path. We're all here with different soul agreements. But we're all here to evolve our souls, to evolve humanity, to learn to live with our highest and greatest good. We know how to live in the fear and the anger and the violence and the hate and the greed and the corruption and all of that so well. We know how to live in it so much that whenever we start to get out of it, it kind of freaks us out a little. Oh my God, how do I be? How do I experience? How do I live in this world? For any of you who have ever changed weight, whether it's losing weight or gaining weight, learning how to dress and to experience and express that new body is not as automatic as people would have you believe. There is a time frame. There is an adjustment. I was the same weight for 30 years. And then all of a sudden I put on about 30 pounds and I had no clue how to dress myself, because the way I dressed whenever I was 30 pounds lighter did not look as good, and I was not going to look that ridiculous in my own view. So it took some time to learn how to accept where I was, because until I accepted that I had gained that 30 pounds, there was no way I was going to be able to lose it. So I had to be in the present, in the moment, love where I was then, without conditions, without any kind of restrictions or limitations, and say, this is me right now. Once I did that, then I could change it. But until you accept it, for even that split second, you cannot change it. You have to embrace who you are, warts and all, because it's only your illusion. Last week I was sharing the story about my long bony toes and how I used to just hide them and keep them hidden and felt that they looked so ugly. And worst of all, they were my mother's toes. And then one day it just dawned on me. It's like, wait a minute, Sherry, this is part of who you are. This is your body. This is your house, this life around. So love it or hate it. You get a choice. The choice of hating your toes is creating limitations. You're not wearing sandals. You're not going barefoot, blah, 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 blah. So, come on, Sherry. So again, pulled out all of the toe rings, got out bright nail polishes, got them all pretty. And as I was telling this story in a class, a couple of the people started laughing because they were just sitting there talking with each other about how pretty they thought my feet were. And that just floored me, because that was such an instant manifestation of the truth. And it's kind of hard, when it slaps you upside the face that way, to not see it. Fear will kill faith, but faith will kill fear. That's why the saying, if you have faith the size of a mustard seed, you can move mountains. And those mountains are illness, money, all of our problems, fear, etc. Are you functioning in fear or faith? What will people think? That stems from our need for acceptance, approval, and taking responsibility for somebody else. Who cares what somebody else thinks? Are they living your life? Are they paying your bills? Are they up nights with your worry? Are they going through what you're going through? Why are you giving your power away to what someone else thinks about your personal experience and the expression of it in this life? Be aware of your own actions. Do not live another's life. Live your own and live it your way. You are the most important thing you possess. And no one can think your thoughts or feel your feelings. They do not have the right to judge your choices or actions. And you need to wake up and pay attention to the fact that you're giving your power away to these other people. So, I feel like I'm talking by myself here. I would love to hear from you. Please give me a call. The number is 773-897-6227. And I'm going to wet my whistle here again. Remember, we are each perfect in and of ourselves and are always perfect for any time, place, and or situation. It's not important why something is happening to you. It's only important what you're learning from the experience. And there is a big difference with something being to your highest good or trying to have your own way. We're all going to mess up. We're all going to make mistakes. We're all going to have an opportunity to learn, to make a different choice, to get better at the skill that we've chosen, or to hone and remember the gifts that we brought in with us. So, okay, you goofed. Feeling guilty will not change what has happened. Just say oops and go on. There is no punishment needed. There was no crime committed. You know, you don't have to pay penance or anything else. It's just acknowledge. Well, that didn't serve anything the way that I wanted to. I learned that it didn't work, so let's do it this way this time. It's really important to start shifting the crystal, giving yourself a break, knowing that you have a choice. Just because you've always done it doesn't mean you have to keep always doing it. Once you become aware of something, you get to ask yourself, wow, didn't know I was there, but now that I do know, do I want to keep doing it? Do I want to change it? What do I want to do with this? I get to choose me based on my life, my heart. What's going to work for me now? Because remember, all of our false beliefs are made without consciousness, and they're made before we're 5 years old. Anything after that is just a constant reinforcement of what those false beliefs are, because we have a tendency to manifest that belief into our lives. So what is an authority? You've heard me say, don't give your power away to the authorities in your life. Well, until you recognize and know what an authority is, how are you going to be able to keep your own power and not give it to them? So an authority is any person, place, thing, or situation that you make more important than you. A pet can be an authority. An ideal can be an authority. Of course, our common authorities are doctors and lawyers and teachers and firemen and policemen and this type of thing. And they are social authorities, but they are not the authorities in our lives. I think a lot of this goes back to when we were kids, you know. All of our lives, we were always having to ask permission. Can I go down and play ball with the guys? Can I go to the store? Can I ride my bike? Can I have ice cream? We always had to ask permission for everything that we did. And it was just became more of an automatic. It just never occurred to us not to ask permission. Well, all of a sudden, we reach this magic number of being 18, and suddenly we're all grown up and we're all responsible, and we don't have to ask permission of anybody. Well, that sounds great in theory, but what happens is that because we haven't learned how to give ourselves permission to live our lives and learn to have the balance between asking permission whenever it's involving other people and their choices, or giving permission to ourselves to enjoy life or to receive affection or love or something like that. We don't make that distinction. So pay attention to who's living your life, who's making your choices, whose thoughts you're thinking. Are they yours? And if they are, hooray. Polish them, hone them, use them. Make them shine, share them with the world. But if they're not, change it. Replace those with your own. Reality is the acceptance of what is, and we are all unique and different. And because of that, we are perfect in and of ourselves. We can never be perfect for someone else. We will never, ever, ever be like another person or the same as another person. We can emulate some of the characteristics that we admire in them, whether it be their fashion sense or their sense of humor or whatever. But it will always be through our own filters. And when we forget to do that, that's whenever we get into trouble. That's when we start giving our power away and instead of feeling more accepted and valued and loved, we begin to feel less than, because we are comparing it to them, not to ourselves. And we are reflecting, not mirroring. An illusion is a judgment of what we want it to be. That's it in the key. The illusion is that we should all look, say, think, believe, do, be, feel alike. And the reality is that we are all different. And even though we have had parallel experiences in our lives, we've lost loved ones, we've experienced the loss of a child or a pet, or had a bankruptcy, or something along those lines. The experiences may be parallel, but the effect and how each of us learn from it is uniquely ours. All we can ever do is share what we have experienced with someone else in our lives. And through that sharing is how we assist in allowing ourselves and that other person to heal. It's not in the judgment or the guilt or any of that. It's just simply in the sharing. This is what I felt, and this is how I responded to what I felt. When you judge life, you are manipulated and bound by survival and negative expression. And all you have to do is just take a look around at our world to see the truth in that statement. When you experience life, you are free to choose the expression of your feelings, and that becomes creative expression. So again, stop judging. Stop making it good or bad or right or wrong. Just let it be what it is, and see how you can understand what you know different from that understanding and awareness. All righty. Well, you guys are listening to Easy Knowing with Sherry Kennedy. I'd love to hear from you. My number is 773-897-6227. Give me a call. I'd love to hear your comments and or questions. Remember, you can also check out my website at www.easyknowing.com, and you can also go and hear the past episodes of the show there as well. Okay. So let's look at some definitions of some words and concepts that we use all the time. I think that as a society that there are a few words that we use synonymously when they really, really are not. We use greedy and selfish to mean the same, and they're very, very different. Selfish is taking into consideration all the facts that are available to you in the moment, then making the decision to the highest good of all. Greedy is without regard to any of the facts, nor caring if anyone is hurt, just having your own way no matter what. We always tell our kids, don't be selfish, when we really should be telling them, don't be greedy, be selfish. You know, these are your toys. You ought to respect them, and you need to take into consideration that these other children that are playing with your toys may not treat them the same way you do. So it becomes being selfish is to show them how you want them to play with them. And if they don't honor that, then it is to the highest good of all for you to remove your toys. But greedy, just going in and saying, oh, these are mine and you can't play with them, stuffing them in the closet and not giving anybody the opportunity to have any fun or joy, that's really not a good way to go. That doesn't create anything but negative feelings in the hearts and minds of all of those that are affected by it. Self-worth comes from self-wisdom. When you have the desire to change, self-honesty is the only way that we can begin to see or to become aware. You have to start paying attention to what your needs are. It's great to give to others and to help others, but your primary responsibility is to make sure that your needs are met so that your well stays full, so that you are able to assist others whenever it's appropriate and called for. But if you're sucked dry because you're being, the food source for all of the people around you to live off of your energy, that's not really a good thing. You're the one who's going to end up paying the price for that. Another couple of words that I think get used synonymously there or not are the words duty and responsibility. We have a duty, or let me rephrase that. Duty is that to which one is bound by word or law, that which we do freely. Responsibility is something for which we are responsible, that which we have to do. Responsible is having a Responsible is having a capacity for moral decisions, being morally accountable for one's actions. Okay? Here's an analogy. Parents have a duty to teach their children all the moral, social, and worldly laws to feed, clothe, and shelter them. However, we cannot be responsible for them after they reach the age of reasoning. We cannot feel their feelings or think their thoughts, so we cannot take responsibility for who they choose to be or for the lessons that are theirs to learn. I fully believe we choose our parents and that we make our soul agreements with all of the other beings that we interact with on our path in this world, on this journey that we're all on. But we have to be responsible for who we are. We have to take responsibility for what we say, think, and believe. That is the only way that we can keep and maintain our power. Being in the moment, being fully aware and conscious, first person present. I am, I think, I feel, I believe, I know, I trust. Making a decision is hard. It is easy. The hard part is following through with a decision that was made, because that involves breaking the habit. It takes 21 consecutive repetitions to change a habit or to create a new one. And that really isn't that much time when you think about it. 21 consecutive repetitions, and you have completely cleaned the chalkboard on your subconscious mind and written the words of your truth on it, which will be what you focus on from that point on. When a person has trouble making a decision, it's usually because they don't want to take responsibility or face the consequences of the decision that they have, of their own actions and beliefs. Embarrassment is being something other than what you think you should be. That goes back into judgment, of giving your power away, of living up to other people's expectations. It's the only way we can experience embarrassment is because we did not live up to the expectations of ourselves or others. And then again, I'm going to come back at you with according to who and compared to what. I see that we have a new call. Hello, you're on the air.
Hi.
Hi, sweetie.
I have a question. You're speaking. I know you spoke on it the other day about the 21 days to break a habit, and you're also speaking about the 21 days now. I've heard that before too. The 21 days that breaks a habit, and a lot of the times, like with certain stuff, it's like, you've tried it and things like, I don't know, like it don't happen. Can you kind of go into that? Is it something that one is holding or doing something wrong that it don't take the 21 days?
Okay, first off, it's not 21 days. It's 21 consecutive repetitions. So you can do it. You can have it can be three times a day for 7 days. It can be, once a day for 21 days. It's the consecutive repetitions.
Okay.
And
but when you've done it, like you've tried to do it and it's coming and like it's still there, like you're trying, but it's still there, and sometimes it lasts years. And
absolutely it does. But I want you, what is it that you're trying to change? Is it a belief or is it a habit? And they're two different things. You cannot change a false belief by treating it like it's a habit. A false belief is your rule of action, or any belief is your rule of action until it is recognized and changed. The habit, what we're talking about with the 21 consecutive repetitions, that's breaking the habit. I think I was sharing the story about learning not to yell at my daughter. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And it took me, again, time, because the habit of yelling at her was so automatic within me. I had to actually change the belief, which, again, a false belief is not something you're aware of. Okay? If you were aware of it, you wouldn't do it, for example. But my false belief was that it was okay to treat another person that way. I didn't realize that I had that belief. But until the behavior showed me that that was against what I truly believed in my heart, I was not able to break that habit. So once I changed the belief of saying, this is unacceptable to treat another person that way, breaking and restating the truth of we are all uniquely divine, rare, and precious beings. Everybody deserves to be treated with respect and love. That was the truth that I had to replace the false belief that, oh, well, this behavior was okay. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay. So adding to that, like, so like in order to maybe break through something, you need to work on other things in order for that one to break through too.
You cannot change a habit until the belief that created it is changed.
Okay.
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 So, what is can you share the habit you're trying to change?
Well, just I'm working on like finding myself and loving myself and being who I truly am. So it's been a journey, and it's been a lot of work, and
oh, absolutely.
But I'm just and it's not easy, but and I know there's a lot of things that I need to do, but just as I go with the moment, I guess things will happen. But I just want to know about the 21 because I've heard it before, and it's...
Well, did that help you understand it a little differently?
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
Okay, so remember, the only time you don't try and put everything under this big umbrella and just run around trying to get it all. You'll just drive yourself crazy and nothing will happen. The way
I think that's
your higher self will support your personal growth. I promise you. What you want to focus on above and beyond anything else is when somebody pushes your buttons, when somebody, again, makes you react out of hate, anger, fear, or resentment, you've gotten a button pushed. Okay? Buttons are only attached to false beliefs. So don't get angry at the person for pushing your button. Go and look what that button's attached to. Why did that make me angry? Why did that scare me? Why did that fill me with resentment? Why do I hate that? You have to go within and ask those questions. As you're going within and asking those questions, your higher self, again, is supporting you. Well, the first time you ask the question, ego's going to be in there saying, oh, well, because he, she, or they did this. And you go, no, why am I angry? And even the second and third question would still be ego's interference of saying, well, they did that. If they had done this, then I wouldn't have acted that way. That's why I'm angry. No. That's not why you're angry. That's your reaction. Again, you go deeper. Why did that offend me? Why did that make me angry? Because the only time the question why is valid is when you're asking it of yourself. When you're asking why of anyone else, it's about control and manipulation. You got to stay focused on the why. Go within. Why did that make me angry? And eventually, your higher self's going to come back and say, because you felt unworthy. You felt less than. You felt threatened that you didn't think you were good enough. And you got to come back with, wow, okay, didn't know I had that belief, but now that I'm aware of it, that's a lie. I know I'm a beautiful, radiant, rare, and precious. I know I'm worthy. And you state that truth with the energy of the conviction. Then comes the habit. Breaking the habit that old belief created in your life. You don't believe that anymore. And I guarantee you, universe is going to give you many, many opportunities to break that habit. It'll put things right back in your face, and you're going to go, I just changed that. Yeah. But you need to make it real with the experience of it. You haven't had this experience with this new belief. You've had it many times with the false belief, but not with your truth. So you're going to always get this opportunity. Does that make sense? Oh, I think I lost her. That was awesome. Thank you so much, Leah, for calling. I appreciate it. We talked to her last week, and I recognized her voice. So thank you for that. That was a wonderful way to focus and more clearly define specifically the information. Are you there?
Yeah, I got disconnected, but I heard what you said. And, thank you, Sherry. I appreciate it. And
you're so very welcome. And would you give us your name for the rest of the audience? I'm sure they'd love to know who they were talking to.
Lena.
Is it Leah? Lena, Lena. Thank you.
Yes.
I really appreciate it. And, send me an email if you have more questions. Go to my website. And just one more thing. You had, last week when you called, you had asked about the meditation. And
yes.
I just wanted to remind you that my website does have a meditation on how to create your center. It gives you something to do when you go within. So for any of you, it's a really fun thing. And you can just do all kinds of magic and miracles there. So check it out and listen to the meditation, which is audio only. And then there is also a video of a lot of the different things that you can do with it.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for everything.
Thank you for calling, Lena. Bye-bye. Well, that was a blessing. So that pretty much wraps things up for us here today. We've got a couple of minutes left, and I just wanted to say thank you for listening and giving me this opportunity to share my wisdom and the things that I know with you. I hope you get a chance to check out the website, and I would love to hear from you, whether it's email or on the show. But until then, I will say, have a beautiful, blessed week. Stay in your truth and love who you are. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.
When you don't go to Geico.com, car insurance can be confusing. Like Swedish techno confusing.
Bark, bark, meow, meow. Dance with me, purple cow. Bark, bark, meow, meow. Ooh, you lovely cow.
Geico makes it easy. With 24/7 access, all you have to do is go to Geico.com and you could save money on car insurance. It just makes sense. Unlike,
Dance with me, purple cow. I like your moves.
When you don't go to Geico.com, car insurance can be confusing. Like Swedish techno confusing.
Bark, bark, meow, meow. Dance with me, purple cow. Bark, bark, meow, meow. Ooh, you lovely cow.
Geico makes it easy. With 24/7 access, all you have to do is go to Geico.com and you could save money on car insurance. It just makes sense. Unlike,
Dance with me, purple cow. I like your moves.